Good morning everyone, it is Monday the 1st of March and this week we're going to be looking at 12-hour times, 24-hour times, timetables, time-based word problems. So today we are going to focus on reading, writing, converting and understanding 12 and 24-hour times. So things that we're going to look for in your work are your ability to use AM and PM correctly, if you can convert 12-hour to 24-hour times and vice versa, and your ability to arrange times in chronological order. Before we start the main activity today, I would like you to complete the questions contained within this slide. There are 6 questions in total, so if you write down the numbers 1 to 6 in your jotter and complete these questions, and I want you to pause the video now before I go through the answers. Okay, so the first question is 3.4 plus 5.8. Okay, maybe you have written it out in the same way I'm doing it, or maybe you're able to do it in your head. So, and your answer is 9.2. Hopefully this question you will have remembered how to complete a question similar to these after last week. So because you're multiplying by 100, you have 2 zeros on the end of the number, so it's 1,600. Okay, so each circle stands for £10. So Dylan has then 10, 20 and then half, so he has £25. It's very easy. Okay, the numbers in the sequence increase by the same amount each time. Find the missing numbers. Well, you can see here there's a difference of 15, so you would add 15 to this here, it would be 103. Then you would need to go take away 15, which would give you 58. Okay, so now we've got our warm-up activity completed. We are going to move on to converting 12 to 24-hour clock times. Okay, so 24-hour clock does not have AM and PM times. And you may have noticed these around your house. You maybe have one on your microwave, your cooker, TV, different phone. So different devices around your house, maybe your watch as well, and it displays a 24-hour clock time. So to change an AM time to a 24 clock time, you don't need to do anything unless it is 12 AM, in which case the hour changes to 00. So at that time, you should be in bed, okay? So 12 AM, to give you an indication of where it is in the day. Add a 0 before a single digit, hour. To change a PM time to a 24-hour time, just add 12 to the hour unless it is 12 PM. If the hour is 12 PM, then it does not change. Now that might not make a lot of sense, but when you see the examples, hopefully it will help. Okay, so and looking at this clock template is very useful as well. So if you look at the clock template, 1 PM becomes 13 in 24-hour time. Okay, so you can see 1 o'clock here, that's 13. So it talked about adding 12 hours. 2 o'clock, on 24 o'clock would be 14, 3 o'clock would be 15 and so on. And here are some examples. 9:05 AM, and AM is in the morning. In 24-hour time it becomes 09:05, and it talked about adding the 0 beforehand. Okay. 9:05 PM, so this is in the evening, becomes 21:05, so you can see that 12 has been added. Okay, so 12 has been added to the PM times, and a 0 has been added before the time to make the AM times. Okay, so this conversion chart is very useful as well. So it might be something you might want to refer to when you're completing today's work. Now it says at the top military time, but that's 24-hour time and then standard time, and you can see it's just like the clock template before. So you can see all the different times and how they convert from 12-hour to 24-hour and vice versa. So I've included the clock template just to help you within the slide, so if you need to, please refer to it. So converting times into 24-hour clock times, and if you see the first example is 4:25 AM, so hopefully you remember from the previous slide, if it's an AM time, when you're converting to 24 o'clock you add a 0 on, so this time would become 04:25. When you're writing 24 o'clock times, you don't need AM or PM, okay? And if I move over to the other chart then, 4:25, if I was converting this into 24 o'clock, so I add 12 hours to this time, so it becomes 16:25. Okay, so I would like you to use your jotter now to write down the missing answers within both tables here, and if you want to pause the video now before I go through the answers. Okay, so 9:20 AM would become 09:20. 2:55 AM will be 02:55. So you can see the first three examples here were all single digit numbers and you added a 0 before them. 11:35 AM, so 11 is not a single digit number, it remains the same, 11:35. 1:07 AM, 1:07. 12:42, this is quite a tricky one. So if you think of 1 o'clock in the morning would be 01, so 12:42 is 00:42. 6:13 AM would be 06:13. Okay, on the next page, so 9:20 PM, so you're adding 12 hours to that, so this would be 21:20. 2:55 PM would be 14:55. 12:23:35. 13:07, you've added 12 again. 12:42 PM. So 12:42 PM is exactly the same. 12:42, because if you think of 1 o'clock, 1 PM would be 13, so 12:42 remains the same. 6:13 PM, add the 12 on. 18:13. Okay, so now we're going to look at converting 24-hour times to 12-hour clock times. And hopefully the process from the previous slides will help you in order to do this. So converting a 12-hour time to a 12-hour time, follow the simple steps below. If the hour is exactly 12, then simply label it as a PM time. If the hour is 00, then change it to 12 and label it as an AM time. If the hour is greater than 12, then simply subtract 12 from the hour and label it as a PM time. Otherwise, simply label it as an AM time and take away any leading zeros. Okay, so again, a lot of this makes sense when you actually start completing questions. So if we look at the examples here, 13 becomes 1 PM when we subtract 12 from the hour. So you know from the previous slide that 13 is a 24-hour time. We remove 12 from it, so it becomes 1 PM. Okay, and because we're using 12-hour times now, we have to use AM or PM, okay, to differentiate between morning and evening. So 22:30 becomes 10:30, so you've taken the 12 away. And we know that in 24 o'clock, that is an evening time. 6:45 AM. So in the previous slides, we were looking at 6:45 AM, and when we were converting it, we were adding a 0. So this is the opposite then, the 0 was taken away. 12:32 becomes 12:32 PM, so if you think this is around lunchtime. 00:17 becomes 12:17 AM, okay? Again, just to give it the context, that's the time you should be in bed sleeping, and so you can put it in context of what time these events are taking place. Okay, so we're going to complete another few examples. So we're going to look at converting 24-hour times into AM and PM time. And when it's a 12-hour time, it's really important that you write down AM or PM. So there's an example completed for you. It says 13:25 on the 24 o'clock is 1:25 PM, and you can see that the 12 has been removed. So in the previous slide we looked at adding 12, but the 12 has been removed and PM has been added. So this is an afternoon time. If I look at the other chart here, it says 18:53. So what would that be in 12 hours? So take away the 12 and it would be 6:53, and that is a PM time. Okay, so now I want you to pause the video because I want you to use a jotter to go through the questions. So I want you to pause the video now before I get through the answers. Okay, so 10:50 and 12-hour clock is going to be 10:50 a.m. 16:41 is going to be 4:41 p.m. So I've removed the 12 hours. 5:37, so you can see it's a morning time. This is going to be 5:37 a.m. So just remove the 0. 12:10 is going to be 12:10 p.m. 09:29, so that's a morning time again, so it's going to be 9:29 a.m. 17:02 is going to be 5:02, and that's going to be p.m. Okay, other side is hard. 22:05, so that is 10:05 p.m. 7:54, that's a morning time, so it's going to be 7:54 p.m. You can see that this is a morning time, and this is going to be 12:17 a.m. Another morning time, 2:50 a.m. Okay, take away the 12, 9, 12 p.m. And the last one, 23:46, take away the 12, 11:46, and that is p.m. Okay, now if you're using or finding this difficult, please look at that chart that had the 24-hour, 12-hour conversion chart, because it definitely will help you to complete these. Okay. Okay, so this slide basically is getting us to practice converting from 12-hour times to 24-hour times and vice versa. So it's a series of events, so it's like a real life scenario, and it's showing us this person's day from 7 a.m. right through to 5 p.m. and the different events that they've had and the different times that these events have happened. Just be careful when you're completing this though, because just remember the questions at the bottom of the slide, so finding out where the person was at each of those specific times, it doesn't exactly match up with the pictures, okay? So, for example, if I do the first one with you, it says 6:58, and you know 06:58 is a morning time. Now the first time is 7 a.m. So at 6:58, where was Gavin? Well, none of the pictures say 6:58, but we know that at 7 a.m. he's getting out of bed. 2 minutes before it, where was he? He was in bed. So the answer to A is Gavin was in bed. Okay. Now I would like you to pause the video because I want you to go through and find out the answers to the remaining questions before I go through them with you. Okay. So the next one was 8:26. So at 8 a.m. he is in the taxi. At 8:55 he has arrived. So it's 8:26 is in between both those times. So where was Gavin at 8:26? He was in the taxi. Okay, so he's journeying in the taxi, and you can see he was going to the airport. So 11:31, that is an AM time. So at 10:13 he is having a snack and he's waiting on boarding the plane. 11:32 he's actually queuing for the plane. So 11:31 we're going to assume that Gavin is still waiting on boarding the plane, perhaps in this restaurant area here. So the next one is 15:03, so that's an afternoon time. So you can see 15:03 at 2:07, which is 14:07 in 24 hour, he is actually on the plane. And at 14:43 the plane is landing. So 13:03 is in between these two times. So where was he at that time? He was on the plane. 16:52 you can see the plane is landing at 4:43, which is 16:43. So where was he at 16:52? The plane has landed at 5 p.m. So I'm presuming that it's 14:52. He's still actually physically on the plane, but the plane has actually landed, okay? He hasn't disembarked, like it's showing you in picture I, but he's still on the plane, but the plane has landed. Okay, so now we're going to look at ordering times. So there's a range of times here, and it's quite tricky because some of them are in 12-hour clock and some of them are in 24-hour clock. So it is quite tricky, and you have to order them in order, chronological order, starting with the earliest. So I want you to use your jotters now, and I want you to have a go at that. So pause the video now before I go through the answers. Okay, now, so I'm just going to number them. So the first time in chronological order is 12:01 a.m. So that is number 1. Let's stroke that out. Next is 04:19, so that's number 2. Okay, after that we have, are there any, yeah, this is an AM time as well, the 10:16, so that's a 24-hour time. So that's still a morning time, that's number 3. Okay, our next time then is this one here, that is number 4. Then that leaves us number 5 and number 6. Okay. So, order the flight times according to takeoff times. Start with the earliest. So again, I want you to pause the video because I want you to go through these questions now on your own and to write your answers down in your jotter. Okay, so the next task is ordering the flight times according to takeoff times, starting with the earliest. So the first time then is Edinburgh. Okay, so it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Next then you have Belfast, 1 minute past 6, although I'm sure that'll be delayed. The next one then, Newcastle down at the bottom, that's another morning time, so that's 9:35 a.m. Then you have Dublin then in the afternoon, so that's number 4. Then Aberdeen, 27 minutes past 1, that's number 5. Number 6 then is Manchester, that is 16 minutes to 6. Number 7 then is Glasgow, which leaves Bristol as the last flight, so it's 9:35. Okay, so this is a little challenge similar to the task I provided on Monday of last week. So it's called the jumping frog. A frog has fallen into a pit that is 30 meters deep. So each day the frog climbs 3 meters but falls back 2 meters at night. How many days does it take for him to escape? Okay, so this is something you might work it out very quickly, or it might take you a while. So whenever you find out your answer, you can just send it to your teacher. Okay, good luck with that, guys.